we in there? Did we get it? I don't know. I don't know. Are we there? Is everything happening? Is everything popping? Is everything crack-a-lagging? I don't know. Hey, everyone. Welcome to this this very, very impromptu session of Into the Garbage Chute, where tonight we are going to be talking about the book of Boba Fett, the Disney Plus series, and we really weren't going to do this live, but Marcus, aka Mr. Deacon, he forced my hand. He forced my hand. So, Mr. Deacon, yes, the hand has been forced, so we're going to go ahead and deal with that. But we need to say hi to our special guests. We've got a couple of them in here with us this evening. Mando girl, long time no see. How you been?
Pretty good.
Everything going all right?
Yep.
Yeah, all right. All right. Blowing up on TikTok.
Okay.
Blowing up on TikTok. So if you get a chance, you are blowing up. You are blowing up on TikTok. So check out Mando Girl on TikTok. It's absolutely amazing stuff. So also joining us, we've got Jeff, the Grounded Geek from World Gone Geek. Look at his setup. It looks so good. He's a pro.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for inviting me. This is fun.
Well, thanks for jumping in at the last minute. I appreciate that.
Not a problem. I gotta get
That's
my
good
camera.
stuff.
I was rushing. I was just finishing up the last episode of Lost in Space. Sorry about that.
Did Santa deliver all his gifts? I seen that.
What happened?
You didn't see Santa, Jeff? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you.
I said,
Oh.
The picture with the Santa. I said, did you deliver all your gifts?
Yeah, I did. I used an app to change the color of my beard and made a pretty good Santa. It looks like.
Oh, I saw that.
So now we know at least what my future employment will be as long as I don't do anything. It's already going white. As long as once this takes over the rest here, then I think it'll be Santa time.
That might happen. It might happen after this show. So for those of you joining us tonight for the first time, if you've never seen a Circle of Nerds show, please be advised, do not bring children. This is not in any way a family-friendly affair at all. So, yeah, earmuff the kids or just put them to bed, which is fine. Just put them to bed. There will be spoilers. There will be spoilers. So if you have not seen the Book of Boba Fett, just go ahead and tune out. Just thank you for popping in, but go ahead and pop on out because this is going to be spoiler heavy. So again, what prompted this was earlier today. Now we've done Into the Garbage Chute before. We did Into the Garbage Chute last season, and we were doing it for the Bad Batch. We'd come out every week. We're talking about the Bad Batch, and that was a nightmare. And it was painful because the Bad Batch was just, it was terrible. It was rough. It was rough to watch. Anyway, so we weren't going to do Into the Garbage Chute again. We were going to stick to, Krusty Cantina and then just do that. So also do check out the Krusty Cantina every Thursday night, 6 p.m. on YouTube. Anyway, so we were in our group chat this morning talking, and Mr. Deacon, like he does, decided that he wanted to stir up some shit and speak ill of the Fett. But then I ended up watching the show, and then I had some opinions about the Fett, and I was like, oh my God, and it was just heated. It was just heated. And we decided we had to go public with this. For whatever reason, I don't know why, we're going to probably end up getting canceled, but we had to go public with this. So, Mr. Deacon,
Yes,
I'm going to give you the floor and let you start since you were the instigator. Now, I assume everyone on the panel has seen this, yeah? Everyone, Jamie, yeah, Mando Girl, Jeff, you guys have all seen it? All right. Go ahead, Mr. Deacon. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, my first assessment, I've always felt that Boba Fett was an overrated ass character. Yes, I said it. I mean, come on, dog. I mean, think about the last time before Mandalorian, when he got his clumsy ass kicked in the Sarlacc pit. And that's where his ass, that's where he was at, in that fucking Sarlacc pit. So for him to be such a thugged out gangster, how did he allow that to happen? That's what I'm saying. He's on a Django, and he allowed himself to be basically captured and dissolved for 1,000 years. That's what C-3PO said. So now when you watching the show, like I said, spoiler alert is coming. I felt that he was a little soft and he's not listening. If he's so thugged out, be thugged out. But in his defense, I feel like after all this ass kicking, you done killed so many people. Maybe he got a change of heart. Maybe he got an epiphany now. He realized that Jabba got killed doing this shit. Bib Fortuna?
Bib Fortuna.
Being a thug. So now maybe if I want to stick around, maybe I should just lean back a little bit, be a little bit nicer, be a little bit more respectful. And that's basically what he's doing now. So he went from thug to bitch that quick. And that's either, I said it. I like Boba. He's not my favorite, but it is what it is. So I mean, if you want to retort, it is. I like the show. You didn't like it. You said that he was soft as well.
I did not. I did not care for the show, but we will discuss. I want to give everyone a chance to speak. Who would like to go next? Mando girl, ladies first. How about we get you going?
You already skipped that part.
I'm
Harsh words from Mr. Deacon.
I'm supposed to be the ref between you guys. I'm sorry, Mr. Deacon. I don't think you and I can be friends now. I'm sorry. I will say this much. No one can say that Marmorth is a soft body anymore. The whole dad bod thing is outdoors. That man, it's good.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Fett learns and has adapted over the years. He's made mistakes, but he always has prevailed for the most part in any situation he's been in so far. And maybe he's looking at the past history of how the Hutts have handled everything and was like, no, I'm going to try it this way and see how it goes. Fett has proven he can kick ass and take it. He's already proven that. But this new approach, I think it's a wise approach. I think he still has to get around underneath the situation for him. But I'm very looking forward to see how his character will develop on that. I think it's amazing that we finally got the answer how he got out of the pit.
Right.
I want to know what the heck character or the creature that he fought. I don't even know.
Oh, that like multi-legged thing. Yeah.
That's the digestive enzymes kicking in. That's what that is.
No, that wasn't no.
Yeah.
I think he will toughen up. Fett has proven himself already, like you said, and he'll do it again. I think if they're going to leave him too soft, Disney's going to be real. I look forward to that. So he'll show his tough side again. He'll have it.
All right, Jeff, what say you?
I enjoyed it. It's definitely a kinder, gentler Boba right now, which is a little odd. And I wasn't super crazy about that, but I did like the line about respect versus fear. That seems like something that he might do, especially after having. I'm assuming this all takes place after the events of Mandalorian. At least the stuff in Mos Espa, not the stuff where he escapes from the pit and things like that. But no, I thought. I thought it was kind of interesting. I'm very interested to see where it goes. Utah was just mentioning in the chat why show the pit. Yeah, maybe it would have been nice to have that a mystery, but the way they handled it, I thought was fine, and it gave us a little bit of backstory. How he survived. I would still like to know how he survived, right? So not showing it, I think, would just leave this big empty question mark. You know, because obviously it did a number on him. I mean, he was getting digested, and then all that time with the Sand People, who knows what that did to him. But
Yeah.
my final thing that I'll say about the monster, a lot of my friends on Facebook, they weren't a big fan. It was a very kind of non-Star Warsy character, very different kind of monster than anything we've seen yet in Star Wars. But it was a clear nod to Harryhausen. There's a little mix of the Kraken, a little mix of the Centaur. Even the way it moved is kind of like a nice Harryhausen kind of homage. So, considering that was a big inspiration of Lucas, I thought that was a nice touch, even if I didn't particularly care for the monster.
All right. Let me go ahead and do this thing. All right. So, I love Boba Fett. All right. I love Boba Fett. Jonathan said in the comments, he said, I'm probably in the minority thinking he was an overrated minor character. He was taken out by a Han Gaffy. What is that? Oh, yeah, the Gaffy stick, yeah. Mm-hmm. But he's just such a good character. He is just that old school gunslinger. You know, he's, you know, that Wild West, you know, Clint Eastwood type of guy. He doesn't need a lot of lines. He just nods. He just makes a few little motions, little movements here and there. And he just instills it's just fear. Just fear. Right? You know, I mean, he was the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy. I did not expect this to follow along with EU. I did not expect this to follow along with Legends. I knew we weren't going to get that. I knew we were going to get a different Boba Fett. But my main issue with this is when we see Boba Fett for the first time in The Mandalorian, he is a savage. I mean, he is a stone cold killer. I mean, he made me feel bad for stormtroopers. Actually, that entire series made me feel bad for stormtroopers. I mean, if you look at what happened to stormtroopers throughout The Mandalorian, what the armorer did to the stormtroopers, that was like the guy that went into the furnace. Oh, that was awful. That was horrible. Poor guy. Lunchroom Trooper. When we all remember poor Lunchroom Trooper. He was just, and then what? Bill Burr. Bill Burr just bucked him down. My dude was he just wanted his lunch. He has a tray of food. That was it. I'm just here for food. He was the only one that didn't have his hand on a blaster. Bill Burr took him out. Poor guy. And then we see what Boba Fett brutalized the stormtroopers, which is fine. That's what stormtroopers are for. You're supposed to brutalize them. It's fine, whatever. Then cut to the end of The Mandalorian, that post-credit sequence where we see Boba Fett. I mean, this is our Boba Fett. He walks into the palace. He says nothing. He sees Bib Fortuna, Bib Fat Tuna, sitting on the throne, blasts him, pulls him off the throne with authority. The way that he's like, ah! I mean, he pulled him the fuck off that throne, like, ah! Pulled him off. Sat down in the throne, and then Fennec goes and grabs some tequila to sit down next to him, and they're in control. They're in charge. Got it. And then now what? We cut 2 weeks later, and he's just a kinder, gentler Fett. He's bringing people candy and flowers. He's just super nice. I don't even care that he got beat up. I get he's not in his prime anymore. He's still doing pretty good. He's not in his prime anymore. He's been through some shit. I understand that. I don't mind him getting a little bit beat up. He needs to back the tank. We'll talk about the clone stuff in a minute, but the mayor's lackey that was sent, and even Fennec made a comment. You know, had you spoken such insolence to Jabba, you know, he would have fed you to his menagerie. Mm-hmm. Why did Boba at least take a Liku from that guy? I mean, send him home with like one head tail gone. Gone. Just send him back to the mayor. He was like, no, keep an eye on that one. No, kill him. Kill him. Send a message, Boba. Send a message. But no message was sent. And then he's walking around. He goes inside, takes his helmet off. I'm not concerned about this is the way you gotta leave your helmet on. But part of Boba Fett's power was that mystery. Keep that, you kept the helmet on. You never saw his helmet ever, or his face ever. So he walks in, goes into the casino, takes the helmet off. Hey, what's up, everybody? Yeah, you can clean my helmet, sure. Here, go ahead, take my helmet. Why not? Get out of here! No, absolutely not.
To be fair, you're basing him always keeping his helmet on to be mysterious on 3 scenes in the original trilogy.
Sure.
We don't know what he was like when he wasn't on the trail of Han Solo. He may have been in Slave One, playing smooth jazz and.
Oh, sure, in Slave One, but when he was in public, the helmet was on because it added to the mystique. We never saw him without the helmet off.
Well,
Never.
that's because we never saw him.
And that was great. We didn't. Okay.
I'm just saying because we never saw him, we can't assume he always wears it, and so you can't assume that about him. That he does that in every situation. It's like Jack Bauer on 24. He's got to go to the bathroom sometimes. Well, when the camera's not on him, that's when he's peeing. It's all right. You know what I mean? What's happening when they're off camera? We can't know. So.
Right. No. And I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. However, in the few scenes that we've seen Boba Fett at the palace chilling. He's kind of flirting with the dancing girls a little bit. We see him, doing that. But he's always with the helmet on. When he's out and about, the helmet's on. But even when he's at the palace, just kind of kicking it, the helmet's on. So for him to be just walking through the streets of Mos Espa without the helmet on.
Well, he can't put it on there with all those credits in there.
Yeah. I don't know whose Boba Fett that is, but that's not my Boba Fett. I don't know what they did. I did.
He probably had an epiphany. Oh, when he was in that Sarlacc pit, he probably had to rethink, like, damn, this is where all my thuggery has gotten me. And, now I barely get out of there. I got lucky his flame was working. He seen the other stormtrooper, and somebody mentioned that. How did the stormtrooper get in there? I don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? But if the trooper hadn't been in there, he got a little oxygen, he came out. I think he's changing his ways. I think he realizes that his way of life is not working, so he wants to change. I can't be mad at a man for that. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
Wait, what way of life? Like hanging out with the Tusken Raiders and
first ask questions later, the cowboy western style that you like. The man is trying to make a change. I can told you all those people who were empowered they're dead. They're dead. So now he wants to show, look, we can get this money without all of this. Let's work together better. I won't kill you just yet. Let's work together and get this money. You know what I'm saying? He that's what he's alluding to now. Whether he stays like that, I don't know. But for right now, he got his ass whooped a little bit. He got his ass whooped. Don't talk about them Jawas no more. Them Jawas, as soon as he woke up,
Okay, but you know what? I knew you were going to say some shit like that. I knew you were going to bring the Jawas up. I absolutely knew it. He was fucked up. He just crawled out of the Sarlacc pit. He probably had like acidic fumes in his lungs. He had that stormtrooper's bad breath in his mouth. He had the acid. He'd gone through some shit. So he could barely lift his head up, and then of course a little Jawa comes and boop, yeah.
They thugged out. They took it off his chest. I was like, damn. They just stripped him down. Like now we know how he got his armor. I was like, okay, yeah. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice way to bring it in because it answered questions. I wanted to know how he survived the Sarlacc pit. I wanted to know how they got a hold of his armor. You found out, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, how many episodes is it supposed to have? Like 6 or something like that?
Yeah, I think something like that. So let's ask this question then, because you bring up a good point. So we'll ask this question: Are there certain mysteries surrounding Boba Fett that should remain mysteries, or is it already too late? Have we already crossed that threshold? That was for 40 years. We've all wondered, how did he get out of the Sarlacc pit? You know, and for 40 years, you know, Lucas was like, he's dead. That's it. He's dead. You know, he came back, of course, many, many times in the EU, but then once that was all removed from the canon, then it was really up in the air. Like, what happened to Boba Fett? So, you know, was that, for those of us that, you know, have been waiting for this moment, you know, was it satisfying? What do you guys think? Was this the moment that we've been waiting for? Or could they have expanded on it, do you think?
No, I think that they were. This is a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation for them. If they hadn't addressed it, you would have seen the fandom explode and ask, why will we never get this answer? You know, how did he survive? Like, we're just going to leave that to our imagination. And then they do show it like they did, and there's you know, a contingency of the fandom that's angry about that. So, I mean, they were never going to do the right thing when it came to this decision, which is why I think what they did do was not dwell on the Sarlacc too much. I mean, we know he's got a flamethrower. We probably could have assumed that. But I think less about how did he get out of the Sarlacc was how did he continue to survive after that. I liked that part. The Sarlacc part was very understated. They got it out of the way early. And then we saw him trying to survive, and the Sand People, you know, Tusken Raiders coming along and you know,
drug his ass,
giving him a little bit of a hard time.
How many people could have survived? Like, you sitting there, you just get out the pit, and then you wake up, you get knocked out again. You laying there during a sandstorm. They find you, they make your ass get up and walk. Then they drag your ass. Come on, man. You can't say he still ain't hard, though. After all of that, he still survived.
Oh, no, he's hard. Yeah, he's 100%. He's 100%, 100% still, that's Boba Fett. I mean, he's no one else could have survived that. I mean, really. I mean,
you didn't appreciate that?
Oh, no. I was 100% fine with that. Like I said, my biggest problem, like all of that, I like the flashbacks. I'm really curious to see what's going to go on with the Tusken Raiders, how that's going to evolve a little bit more. I think that's all great because we're seeing him handle some things. We did get to see a little bit of, you know, his human side. You know, when we saw that settler get potentially murdered, you know, he turned away. He didn't like seeing that. Because we do know that Boba Fett does have a sense of moral and ethics. You know, we do know that. He's always had that. Even in the books in the EU, he had a sense of moral. He had a moral compass and ethics. So I find all that very interesting. I think that I'm really looking forward to that. But it's just but again, that's still Boba Fett. That's still Boba Fett 40 years ago. You know, that's Boba Fett. That's, you know, Return of the Jedi Boba Fett. He's still, you know, he hasn't been Disney-fied yet. So now we get him in Mos Espa, and again with the candy and the flowers to everybody, and it's you know, let's just make it a kinder and gentler situation. So, Mando Girl, what are your thoughts on the Sarlacc pit? Are you happy about that? Are you satisfied with that?
I'm glad they touched base on it and they did it briefly because obviously now we can progress, which is great. First thing I said, that's some really bad heartburn. But the quick progression past that, and now we can see him progress into the gangster side of him now, pretty much, you know, the leader of all the crime. I think that's what we're more looking forward to as viewers. So, answering that question, move past that, that's great.
Okay.
And like how everyone is he is a tough person. I mean, going through all that, I mean, the whole time, like how he said he didn't have, as far as we know, didn't have water. And being beat up multiple times, right in the desert, kicking that creature back. All I could think of was like Mortal Kombat for the creature.
Goro.
Once again, right? Yeah. Shows how much of a tough character he is. I always think when it comes down to how he's handling well, I'm gonna take it easy, kill this person as of yet, and send a message. it's the whole keep your enemies close, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. He's probably weeding out who he can trust and who he can deal with and who he needs to take care of. So,
Okay. All right. Well, that's what I'm hoping for. We had a couple of really good comments. I love this one from Utah. I put that up a second ago about the similarities there between Boba Fett and Batman. I thought that was funny. So Louis mentioned he loved the relationship between Fennec and Boba, and I also like the relationship between Fennec and Boba, but an issue that I'm having is I feel like she's being downplayed a bit more than she ought to be. She feels a little too subservient to me. She feels more like a henchman and less like a partner or his right hand. I understand she has a life debt to him. She saved her life.
No
He saved. No. I get that. I understand that. But Chewbacca had a life debt with Han, and he was in no way subservient to Han. So I'm hoping that this will develop a little bit more. But we've seen Fennec hardcore. I mean, hardcore. She is a badass, no doubt about it. So, I feel like she's. I don't know if it's. I don't know what it is exactly, but it just feels like she's really being downplayed a little bit too much. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Damn, the show just got started, bruh.
I know. I think there's so much more to come.
I don't care that it just got started. I don't care. This is how I feel in my heart about these things.
I think a lot of the stuff that is that's been mentioned so far, especially the flowers and the things like that. Again, he just took over this crime syndicate, and he's got to play the game to keep all these different, other crime lords, like the lady that runs that place, in the fold, kind of. So he plays the game just like the Godfather would. You know what I mean? Now, Godfather would probably have sent one of his other guys to do it. It's a little bit different, but that's what he's doing. I think he's not going there and giving her flowers because he wants to go out on a date. He's going there and he's like, hey, this is the kind of, I'm in charge now. We're going to keep the same arrangements going. If you want that to keep going, then you'll fall in line, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And he did it subtly, and she got the message and moved on. So I think that was part of it. And then, on his way out, they gave him his take, right? Filled his helmet. For a minute there, I thought that they filled Fennec's helmet too, but then obviously hers was empty. I thought that was kind of a funny way to do it, and it did make it so that he couldn't put his helmet on when he needed to in battle, which was a little awkward. But I think he's playing the game. I think that's to be expected. Fennec, I think, she's going to be the consigliere, I think. And probably his chief assassin and things like that if he needs to.
Her major domo, his major domo.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think the only thing that I love Ming-Na. I mean, just anything, right?
Yeah, 100%.
The only problem is her playing such a badass in this show is there are moments where I'm like, this is Agent May from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You know what I mean? It's like this is the same character that she played on that, and I'm like. So I'm hoping that they give her some more nuance than Agent May, that just being stone-faced killer kind of person, like they did in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Eventually we start to get to know her and find out why she's that way or whatever. But yeah, I would like to see Fennec get more character development, because all we know about her right now, just like Boba, is that they kick butt and they take names. They're all out of chewing gum, the whole whatever.
All right, so I will admit that I am being perhaps a little overly reactionary. Maybe I'm taking things a little too personally. I will give it time. I will take a step back. I will take a breath, and I will see where this ride takes us.
I love that comment. It could be very interesting.
Yeah.
He was dreaming. He was dreaming that he was having. Of course, he was have a flashback. He was already dreaming. He was dreaming. So that made complete sense to me. You know, this is what I got started, and this is where I'm at.
I know, but Brent here is suggesting that maybe they're giving us a taste of the Clone Wars again because somebody's coming back from the Clone Wars. We're gonna see. Maybe.
So. And also, Mr. Deacon and I, we touched on this a little bit earlier today, talking about, obviously Boba's messed up. You know, we see him sleeping in a bacta tank. You know, he obviously, you know, he needs that. But in addition to his injuries, and we're seeing that a lot of the scarring is going away, the bacta's doing its job. But Mr. Deacon brought up a very good point earlier today. He is, although he's unaltered, he is still a clone, you know. Correct. So, you know, is the aging, the rapid aging, is that still something that is happening to him, or was something?
I thought the Kaminoans, he was the one clone that they didn't do that to. So he
was 100%.
So that he could be his son.
Yeah.
So
he doesn't have the advanced aging. He's aging
there's
normally.
So when they say he's unaltered, he is completely unaltered, no advanced aging. Because if that was the case, he would be decrepit by this point. Because it's, 9 years, I think, after Return of the Jedi is when all this takes place.
I thought they said about the programming. I didn't hear him say nothing about the aging process.
I'm pretty sure when he was talking to Obi-Wan, he explained about that he was his son. I vaguely remember. I don't remember the exact wording, but I'm almost positive that they said something about that. That's why he was a little kid and everybody else, you know, wasn't.
Well, you know, you always have anomalies anyway. You know, that process was never really perfect. So I think he's carrying something that might be affecting him. We have to see. You know?
So you think it's more than just the injuries he's sustained? There's something else driving him to that bacta tank. Is that going to be something that's going to be a permanent thing?
Maybe. Yeah, I do.
Well,
so
I think they did mention that he is a 100% unaltered clone. They said that he was a pretty pure so I'm personally guessing that's also including the aging. I think he's just like any other character that you have PTSD. I mean, physically you can heal all that, but mentally it happens. I mean, it takes a toll.
Yeah, no doubt. So we had this comment from Rafiq. I'm really curious to see what will be the catalyst for him wanting to sit on that throne. Crime boss is a far cry from the only life he's ever known, bounty hunter. So that decision needs to be a big one, in my opinion. Good point. Very, very good point. You know, why, what's he thinking? What's going on? What was because he could have just got his armor, reclaimed his ship. I don't know where his ship is, but looked for his ship and then went about his merry way. But why? You know, why is he going after Jabba's old throne?
I think, like I said, it's a lifestyle change, man. I think after all of that bounty hunting, going from planet to planet, whooping ass and doing this, I think the man is entitled. Like you said, he's getting older. Hey, Boba needs a retirement plan. You know what I'm saying? And in his eyes, that's probably his retirement. Let me go back to Jabba. Like when he got in that pit, think about it. He old bit for it. You know, nobody went down and tried to help him. Nobody did nothing. Like
they were blown up. They were dead. No one could blow him up.
He wasn't dead. Where was his ass at? Sitting on that throne. He
said, Bib. Yeah, he bugged out.
Yeah, he took advantage of the situation. Now, guess what? I got something for your ass. Boom. And then now I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
Looks like, hold on. Looks like we have a special guest.
I hear you're talking about me. And not in the most pleasant of ways.
No, we love you, Lord Fett. Of course we love you.
So I'll send you some flowers. How does that sound? Do you like truffles?
Hey, there he is.
Would you like to clean my helmet?
No. Here, I'll fill it with coin for you. Here, I'll toss a coin to my Boba. How about that?
Hey, I love Boba. Boba tea's awesome.
Yeah, it is. So how's it going?
Good. Yourselves? Hope you guys all had a Merry Christmas and all that fun stuff.
You as well. Did you enjoy the show?
Overall, I did. I'm curious as to where they take it, but I do agree with a lot of points that have been brought up so far. This is not the Boba Fett that I expected to see at the beginning of this show, since this happens pretty much directly after the events of The Mandalorian, right? So
Yeah.
So like you said, he was pretty badass. Like I had mentioned, I think the 501st attendance at events had dwindled and plummeted right after the Mandalorian series, and I wonder if that's a coincidence. But yeah, I'm curious to see what that back to tank and its importance is. I feel like he's going to have to go back to that back to tank every day for whatever reason to recharge. Maybe we'll find out he has some weird radioactive poisoning like Tony Stark did, and he has to find some sort of cure before he can forget about the back to tank. I don't know.
Well, you know, you mentioned like that this takes place right after Mandalorian, and him escaping the Sarlacc took place right after Return of the Jedi.
Right.
So there's 5 years that we don't know, for whatever it is, how many years it is between those. What was he doing in the meantime? I'm assuming that every episode is going to be like this one today, where we get a little bit of crime, building his crime syndicate, and then here's what he was doing before this all happened. So, like Mr. Deacon said, if he's looking for a life change, I think we're going to uncover what that is. And Rafiq hinted at it too. Why is he doing this? Like, it is an odd thing. Like, he just walks in and just takes the throne. Like, technically, couldn't he have done that with Jabba? I mean, if nobody's willing to challenge this guy, he could have easily just walked in there, shot Jabba in the forehead, and then pushed his body off and opened that little gate and dropped him into the rancor pit. You know what I mean?
He would have needed a lot of help to push Jabba.
That's true. But hey, but there's a lot of people in that room that would have helped him.
Fair.
But that's the thing. He didn't have a need though. At that point, well,
that's what I'm saying. What is the need now? I think that's what we're going to uncover.
Could it be a child? There's rumors of that. He had a child in the EU, so he does have a daughter in the books. So of course we know that it's non-canonical anymore, of course. But
they've brought shades of that stuff in.
They have,
even without being explicit. They've brought some of that stuff.
Does he know about his sister? Does he know about Amiga?
Right. That they brought up in the Bad Batch, right?
Yeah, Amiga.
He does.
I had a a Commodore Amiga way back in the day.
I had an Amiga too, a video toaster.
They made a second one.
So Brent asked about the Hutts. Yeah, I don't think the Hutts are too concerned at this point. None of them liked Jabba that much anyway at that time, so they were kind of happy. But I would assume that we will probably see some Hutts. I mean, crime is crime.
But this again, it's 5 or 6 years later, and Bib Fortuna is sitting on the throne. So obviously the Hutts don't give a crap.
Unless, I mean, depending on what
Jabba's been dead for that long.
Right, but what was Bib kicking up to the Hutts?
No, Jabba's no wait. It just after Return of the Jedi. My bad. So that's when Jabba died.
Yeah, so we're 9 years out from Return of the Jedi. I believe Mandalorian and Book of Boba take place 9 years out from Return of the Jedi.
Oh well, then yeah. Then if they haven't replaced him with a Hutt in 9 years, they're not gonna bother.
Unless, like I said, he's been paying lots of tributes to the Hutts. But I mean, that'll all.
Now the mayor could be a Hutt. They didn't really explain. They just said the mayor. Mayor could be a Hutt. We don't know yet.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I think the mayor, based on some of the trailers, I think he might be. I can't remember the name of the species, but the hammerheads. What are they called?
Oh, Ithorians.
Ithorians. Yes, thank you. Because they show an Ithorian in the trailer, one of the trailers, and he's definitely in a place of prominence. He looks like an authority figure, so it's possible that that could be the mayor, or it could be a Hutt. But I imagine if the mayor of Mos Espa is a Hutt, he would have just moved into the palace.
Sure.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So we're gonna wrap this up. Great discussion, great points all the way around. Predictions as we move into episode 2 next week. Ooh. Predictions. Mando girl, we'll start with you. Do you have any predictions?
I think we're going to see more with him with the Sand People, building that relationship. I think we're definitely going to find out who sent those assassins. And more development with her. Kind of touch base on that. She's very vocalized her opinion on putting her foot down. And there might be some bickering where he goes off and says, "Hey, I'm going to take care of this if it won't." So.
Good point. Good point. All right, Jeff. What about you?
Well, for number one, I would like to see more of the Gamorrean twins. I hope that they
lost some weight. It seemed like they lost some weight.
Didn't they? And I'm not even joking. Like, I hope that they become like these cool, like, bodyguards at least in the palace. You know what I mean? I hope they get some fun things to do, because we've all they've ever been is just kind of a joke in Star Wars. So to see them get
fodder, that's what they do.
Yeah, to see them get a little bit of attention and them come to the rescue there at the end, I thought that was kind of fun. But yeah, I think that the person who mentioned what about the Clone Wars, what about the flashbacks he was having, is that going to come back? I think it is. I think by the end of this season, we'll have seen someone that is from the Clone Wars era, because it's Filoni and he follows the exact same,
he does.
The exact same path in every series that he does. And don't get me wrong, the path is great. I enjoy it every time he does it, but it's like, okay, come on, but we know that it's coming because it's Filoni. So it'll definitely, we'll see somebody. Will it be Mace Windu? That might be a stretch, but it would seem to me that if he's still alive, and we know that apparently when you throw people off of things in Star Wars, they don't die thanks to throw them in a Sarlacc pit, you throw them down the Death Star and it blows up, doesn't matter, they can come back. I think that it's possible that he did survive and has been hiding out just like Yoda and Obi-Wan all this time.
Oh, yeah.
I really believe in my heart of hearts that Samuel L. Jackson would love to do it. So I have a feeling there may have been some secret dealings, and I think Sony has distracted all the fan theories over the past summer that they may have gotten away with like a great secret. So we're gonna see. Yeah, that's what I hope.
And Sam had been he posted on his Instagram a couple times
his lightsaber.
His lightsaber, and he some T-shirts, a couple of T-shirts that were I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, they've got a history. And he's willing. So I don't know. Boba, that's an unresolved issue in Boba's life.
Yeah, but I do agree with you. I do think that we'll probably end up seeing some live action version of one of Dave's animated characters, because he loves, fingers crossed for a very elderly Rex. So I don't know. So what about you? What are your predictions?
I predict that there will be a female character named Martha.
Oh,
or
all right.
Rachel.
Okay.
And Boba Fett will not kill somebody based on the fact that both of their mothers' names are Martha. No, seriously. All of these predictions sound great. I do think that seeing Mace Windu come back would be great. I do believe that we'll see something about the Clone Wars, because why would they flash back to it? Dave Filoni's in charge. Boba is a clone himself, so I feel like we're gonna. I'm getting a lot of Godfather vibes on this. I think that we're gonna see him go from respect to fear, and that there's a very thin line between the two, and I think he's going to lean more over to fear. At some point, he's just gonna say, "Okay, F this. Y'all don't know what respect is, so I'm going to show you."
Oh yeah, he's gonna have to lay down the law at some point.
Yeah, he's gonna lay down the law, and I want to see more of the Fennec Boba thing. Like, are they going to show us? I think where Boba saved Fennec is the Budapest of Star Wars. Like, we don't know what happened. We don't know what happened, so maybe they'll show us.
A lot of Marvel references here.
Yeah,
kind of tough not to.
On a side note, if anyone is looking for any Grogu collectibles, Utah has them all. They're just all right there. Just a few. So if anybody was wondering, so.
Wow.
All right, Mr. Deacon, your predictions for next week.
Hopefully, he gets a protocol droid, like he said.
He can afford to buy one now.
Yeah, he
Right.
can. Well, no, he lost that money. But
Yeah, the
I
damn
would like to
Jawas.
see, after he basically earned the respect of the Tusken Raiders, where does it go from there? Now, you see, remember back in Mando, he was running around when he found Fennec. What is his adventures in between after he makes an alliance with these guys and find out, okay, he did this? I want to see that cultivate as well. And it's like Jeff was saying earlier. I think you're going to see different flashbacks of the gangster and then past memories. And I think that's how they're going to play this out through the whole, rest of the
Boba
series.
begins.
Yeah.
So we're going to get like flashback of the week.
Will then John pop up for some reason? I don't know.
Maybe.
It's a possibility. Anything's possible in Star Wars.
As long
Very
as
true.
it's not Omega.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna see Amiga.
Just love that if Omega popped up. Love that.
We're gonna see Amiga, and then I will definitely lose my shit. No doubt about it. So before we wrap up, my prediction, I think personally that maybe he had a little something going on with the Tusken Raider. We know that he was living there, so maybe I don't know if he had a child with one of the Tusken Raiders. It would be nice to find out what's going on under there, because I still don't know if we have any confirmation of what they look like. We know that they're humanoid in form, but do we know what they look like under all the stuff? I don't know if that's ever been revealed or not. So I don't know if and can Boba reproduce being a clone? In the EU, he wasn't a clone. So, can he reproduce? And if so, can he reproduce with a Tusken Raider?
He was unaltered, so he's basically Django Jr.
Yeah, he's right.
And if Django
so,
can
he's basically Django.
he's
right.
basically yeah.
So unless Django couldn't, there's no reason that he can't.
Yep, it would be safe to assume that. So the female Tusken who kind of whooped his ass a little bit, was that the chief's wife or daughter? I'm thinking maybe it's the chief's daughter, and then maybe there's going to be a little romantic connection there.
Thought that would.
Oh yeah, some helmet to helmet. Yeah.
Yeah. I could dig it.
Single file, baby. Single file.
Always in single file to hide their numbers.
That's
seen
right.
That. Yeah, heck yeah. It's terrible. It's terrible. Terrible. So, and I think we will eventually see, the stuff, the lead up to, him saving Fennec and stitching her, getting her new robot stomach, I guess, is what she has now. So
Right.
That'll be very interesting. So everyone, thank you guys so much for joining us, for taking the time out to come here. And we've got what is this? A last minute.
Oh.
You can clearly see the very early figures. Fennec share.
He's right. He's right.
I love it. That's awesome. Ed, thank you. That is a great comment. It's always nice to see those little things too, because now cosplayers are going to be looking for those particular shoes.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Yeah,
All
if
right,
you're gonna do Shang-Chi cosplay, you have to get Nike Air Jordans.
So for those of you that were watching on Facebook and YouTube, thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to watch us. To our guests, thank you to all of our guests for this very short, last-minute impromptu request to join the show. So thank you guys so much for all of that. And if you liked this, we weren't planning on doing this at all for Book of Boba. If this is something that you'd like to see live every week, let us know. And we will do this every Wednesday night around 9 p.m. Eastern. And if you just can't get enough Circle of Nerds, by all means, please follow us on all of our social media and check out the Krusty Cantina every Thursday night at 6 p.m. That goes out on YouTube. And, of course, where can we find all of you folks? Jeff, of course, you've got that World Gone Geek thing going on, so let them know about that.
Yeah, Utah and I both, actually. World Gone Geek is every Sunday night, 7 p.m. We do live interviews and about things that people love to geek out about. We like people who are passionate about stuff, and we let them get passionate on the show, and we talk about it. This weekend, we've got a couple of writers from a podcast called Promptly Written. So we're going to talk to them, and we got a lot of. We got Daniel Ross as a voice actor coming up this month. We've got
Nice.
one of the writers of Shrek is coming up in March or in February. So yeah, we got a lot of fun guests, and then we have a brand new podcast dropping very, very soon. I had hoped it was going to be New Year's Eve, but as Utah will attest, we have not recorded it yet, even though the script is finally ready. So that will be coming. That will, unless you remember doing it, I don't remember doing it. But
I thought I did.
no, we're gonna record that probably tomorrow, this weekend, or whatever, and it will be coming out next week. So keep an eye out for that. Just follow us on at World Gone Geek to find more information.
All right, outstanding. Mando Girl, tell them where to find you.
I go by Mando Girl on TikTok. I don't have a podcast, so you can just find me on there.
All right, outstanding. And of course, last and always least, the instigator of
It's
all
your
of
fault.
this, Mr. Deacon, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on YouTube. That's the main, well, basically on all social media platforms, but go to the YouTube. We do TMEDE. It is Browns, wrapping up the Brown season. So, TMD will show on YouTube at 8:30 on Fridays, wrapping up the season. Make sure y'all like and subscribe, and I appreciate y'all. The Browns is trash and all that good stuff.
Oh my God.
The season is basically over, so let's talk about the draft.
We got a shot.
All right, this is not that show. Like, no, we put the kibosh on the
Even
sports.
though there's a level of nerdiness, but no, it's not the show.
I mean, if we want to
It's a
talk
different
about
form of
pod
nerd.
racing, that's the only sport we're talking about is pod racing. So that's it. All right. So everyone, guests, viewers, thank you guys all so much for checking us out and supporting the show and the channel. We absolutely love you and appreciate you. We don't have an outro, so good night. Here, I don't know.
Do 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 do.
Yes, and Jay Quellen, finish editing the episode so we have something to air tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Bye.
Oh, I should leave.